First one that I wanted to go through with you is a concept that some of you will know, which is basically called the 1990 concept. And effectively, what that means is that on social media, you're looking at 1% of people that are actually posting or sharing. Now, ironically, before the pandemic, it was around 1%. It's actually shifted to about 2% now, just under 2% of people that are sharing content because they had to have this digital move. So a lot more people are digitally present. But what we're still finding is, just because people are sharing content, it doesn't mean that it's great content, as a lot of us will find, because there's a lot of stuff that we don't want to see. So when it comes to your brand and being on LinkedIn, one of the really important things is, as we all know, there's this search engine called Google. You may have heard of it. If you put your name in there, the first thing that will come up in the first, second, third, fourth, or fifth result is going to be LinkedIn. Now, if your LinkedIn profile is not up to date, your banner, your photograph, your headline, your about section, if your recommendations are out of date and they're from 2011, like some of mine were, or it still has a job title with one of my really close friends. If you go onto his LinkedIn profile, it still has his job from 10 years ago, and he left there 10 years ago. So it's got nothing to do with what he's doing now, and he can't understand why when people search him, they don't automatically just want to work with him, because he hasn't updated all these simple things to give him the credibility. And it looks like he's retired, because the only reason you would still have your old company info on LinkedIn is generally if you've retired and you're no longer really engaging with things. So really important to make sure that if Google and Microsoft are saying the highest trusted source of information is LinkedIn, is get your LinkedIn profile up to scratch, at least so that you can say, when my perfect client finds me, it looks okay. That's already going to get you 90% ahead of all your competitors, because how many people do you see on LinkedIn who either don't have a photograph, they've got a gray banner in the background, or they haven't got the title or details up to date. I found, I think 13 people I've spoken to so far this week, where I've gone onto their profiles, and just by clicking on the contact info, the email addresses were out of date, their web URLs were out of date or not working. There was no way to contact them. The phone numbers was an old company phone number. So just these things, please make sure that you do an audit on your own profile to make sure that every single thing works. Get a friend or a family member to do that. Just like Francis, caught me out about my invoices today, and Karen, bugged me because my process isn't as smooth as it should be. But I'm working on it, I promise. And Karen, we will be speaking again, I'm sure. But the whole thing is about moving forward and learning and knowing the things that are the obstacles that hold you up. So the 1990 concept, that the fact that 1% are posting, you can be 99 or at least 98% ahead of your competitors just by making sure your profile is up to date and you're posting. So those are two very basic principles. Now, making sure that you're providing valuable content is a different story. And we're going to talk about that over the next 12 weeks, about mixing that up, because it's really important that you're not trying. Who loves those posts where that every single post that they have is a sales pitch? Anybody? No, we scroll past those. And how many people know a friend or a colleague that before we've even seen their post, we know exactly what it's going to say? Anybody? And do you read their post or do you scroll past? Yeah, we scroll past. So these, if those logical things appeal to you, and that's what your brain is saying, make sure that you don't fall into that trap. Because I know I did with my security company. I was just like, Another thing about a sales, look at this, a great motion sensor. Look at this great control panel. Look at this. People don't give a rat's backside, about your great device or they want to know how much you care, how much value you can add, and then only will they connect and start that relationship with you. So the next part is the 9%, which is really important because if you understand this concept, amazing things happen. So the 9% are those people that they can either be wonderful or they can be annoying, but they are the people that like, comment, share, engage. Now, some of them add great value. Some of them just want to taunt people and annoy them online and go and jump on another expert's profile and go and comment about how great they are themselves so that they can hopefully get clients from another expert, which is a bizarre way of doing things. But those 9% are the people that LinkedIn choose. So if you can imagine 9% of your own community, LinkedIn take your posts and your content and show it to them first. If they engage with your content and they feel it useful, then LinkedIn will show it to the next level, which is your second and third level contacts. Otherwise, if you go through your LinkedIn post for the last few months and you look and you see mostly first connections engaging, that is the reason why, because either you don't have content that is appealing outside of that, or you're not posting at all. So very obvious things there. The 90% are those people you want to reach. So Jane, you mentioned a third level contact that reached out and did business with you. How many people have had somebody that they didn't even know they were connected to on LinkedIn reach out and do business? Yeah. And 90% of the people I work with that really understand this process and get it right, they find people phoning them up saying, I've been watching you, which sounds like they're stalking. I've been following you. I've been reading your posts. I've just had a client reach out to me after 6 months of reading my posts. 6 months of reading my posts. And I mean, 6 months ago, I was recovering from COVID, but half the stuff I was posting didn't make sense. So I'm glad they carried on after 6 months. But the really important thing is people want to build trust, and there's no silver bullet. So if you come to me and go, what do I do today? The 1% that I've already mentioned now, you're updating your profile and making sure that all your contact info that you can go and do, that'll make a difference. But the reality is none of this is an overnight fix. It's you being dedicated to make sure that you follow all these steps. And eventually, by applying the baby steps over the next 12 weeks, it will become second nature, and it will go from where you get into the car and you don't know how to drive to that position where you can drive and, like some of the ladies where you can do makeup, do your hair, the whole works. You don't even think about what's in front of you. You just, you're driving on cruise control.